Okay, I'm gonna make some YouTube videos again. Well, attempt. It's always such a struggle. But, oh, that lighting is real bad. What are we working on today? Some gates.
So
just welding
nice.
some hinges on. And mind you, these are recycled materials. I'm just patching them together with random scrap. So I gotta cut this little bracket off, and this one's pretty much done. I just welded, the one hinge was already on there, because I would have probably put it here if it was me actually trying to build a gate, but I don't feel like moving all that stuff for a little gate. And yeah, my shop is a real mess right now, but it is what it is. So change of plans, we have to go to so me and my brothers all farm together, kind of 3 operations. And yeah, so anyways, we help each other out. So I'm going to go to my brother Stefan's, and we're going to help him put up some hay because he says it's dry. So he just calls us, and then if I need his help, like we usually kind of do with the haying and chopping and stuff, and then we do the cows. Sometimes we do cow handling and stuff together. And anyways, it works out pretty good. Gives us a little bit of we're like our own hired help. We help each other out, and that way we don't have to be dependent on hired help all the time. But we don't even have hired help, so it's just us. And anyways, then yeah, I'm gonna go that way. We gotta go to the coffee shop, get a coffee before we go there. Yep. But give me a second, gotta order my coffee.
Hi, welcome to BMW. What can I get for you?
Hi, can I get double medium? And another medium, 1 sugar, 2 cream.
Cream?
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's it. Kind of long. Okay. Got the coffee. Paul. Steve's got to hook up there to square baler. Pretty nice little tractor. 7810. Might have to jack this down a bit. Okay. Tractors are out. I blew that drive shaft up last week, so now it's a straight shot.
Oh, godverdomme! Het is echt kankerzooi! Waarom nou, man? Waarom nou? Waarom?
Okay, so we like to put a little plastic down. That way we can sell the bottom bales because they get the dirt on there and then you get people don't like that. So anyways, I try to back this in nicely and then I scoot it up, and because I want this stack to kind of lean against the wall a little bit because else you get them facing forward a bit, which I had the problem here with this piece of wood last time. So it makes the stack lean forward a bit, and then the odd bale on the top will come down. So anyways, we're gonna give this a shot. So now that I have the stack up kind of where I want it, you kind of have to eyeball it, but I'm kind of trying to get in front of this board so that this stack is gonna lean back. Anyways, let's keep tilting it and see what happens. A little bit of a slow process, but once you get it figured out, it goes pretty good. So I'm just gonna check on it. So see, stack is leaning to the back, which is kind of what I want to do. So I'll keep pushing it. Just keep rising. And then I'll push it all the way back on the plastic. See, it closes that gap and the stack is leaning nicely. And then I will grab my bar, which I'll have to, so once you get your bar right there, you push off, so you want to go out, and it's going to start pushing the wagon forward. Pushed off, put your feet back in. I can quickly show you, I guess, what it mean by feet for someone that doesn't know, but these things push off the bales, and then I'm just doing this off the, these guys are complaining because I'm videoing. Oh, in there. It goes a little faster if you give some gas too. And then you rise this to make sure it's up, and then you drive ahead a little bit. Then you lower it again. Oh, I gotta turn this on. There.
Yeah, the bailing is fairly easy. Especially now that it's accurate. It's been pretty accurate.
That's a lot of hay. So anyways, we ended up finishing haying. I'm just doing some fencing, and this fence is not straight. It's really hard to get this straight. I tightened it up on both sides, got the wire tight, snapped it a bunch, but because it's such a long stretch, it goes way down to that trees over there. I got it straighter on that end because I kind of cleared all the trees first and got it all flat, and the wire was able to slide better. So anyways, at the end of the day, I think all you got to do is get like you almost need a tractor with GPS, and then pull like a disc or something through like a shank and make like a rut so you can go off of that line and then make a true north straight line fence. But anyway, so I'm doing fencing, and I got this little post here for my fencing, and I just push that against there like that, and then I use my boot on the bottom there and I just push against it like that. And this is, I find this is a very efficient way to fence. Like, you get a lot of stuff done. So then I put, it's kind of hard to do with one hand, but I'm still able to, which is, makes it easier if you had two hands. But see how the clip falls off? But there we go. I do that like that, and then I use my butt to keep the wire there, and then I have my drill and screws, which is really hard to do this with one hand, but anyways, I just screw it in, and then I do that 4 times, and I have it, this is all preset to kind of the right height where a cow would want to reach through, and she would touch her neck right there, and if she reached too far under, she would touch there. And once you have cows in here, they'll keep the wire grazed down enough that the fence stops shorting out. And the amount of power I put through here, you'll see dead grass. It kills the grass. So I really like this way of fencing. It's very efficient and fast. Because I had barbed wire over there. The train just running back here, but I had barbed wire where the train is over there, and we had to cut all the trees out of it, and it was a lot of screwing around. So yeah, anyways, I'm planning on breaking this up, so I'm coming in here. I'm going to clean up these piles with the loader, or just push them up and burn them this winter, but I want to work it up this fall. And there's a couple little trees that have came kind of regrown because they de-stumped everything here, leveled it, and there's just piles that got to be spread out. So not too much work, it's just a big project by myself. Anyways, I was talking about my gates the other day. I was building those. I got 2 of those gates installed, and the other ones I'm gonna wait with because I need to pick up threaded rod, and I'm just gonna see how these gates are. I feel like it'd almost be easier just to go and buy some gates, because but the nice thing is I've cleaned up these materials. These were old elk fence panels, and I just cut them in half and welded some tube in there, but they kind of seem a little flimsy. But anyways, I'm just gonna see how they do, because I had deer. That's another thing with this deer, is I have deer and they hit, or elk and deer, they run, the wildlife runs through these gates with the hooks, and then they bend, and then the gate is more the problem than the fence. Like the gates, because they're not tied to anything, where these fences, they have like a spring, like you could run into it or drive through it with, like, put the bucket on it or something, and it would just go to the ground and back up because it has tensile. Where the gates, they bend those hooks, so I put gates in there, that way I don't have to worry about the deer wrecking it, and then I just spliced it all in. But I'll go show you that quickly, one of the gates, and then there's another gate at the other end. But I was hoping with having actual gates I'd have less problems with like the gates being broken mostly after the winter. Like when there's power on it and animals are walking around, like I feel like if deer are being chased, then there's a chance they break it. But quite often the deer, if they feel the electric shock, they know it too. So yeah, that's kind of things I'm figuring out, which is kind of annoying. But like I have gates by the house and that works really good there, but there's not as much deer where this spot is. There's like a lot of, it's like a road, and then the cows or the deer and stuff, they like to walk down that road. And I guess if something was chasing it or whatever, or it wasn't looking or just running, it would hit that gate. So anyways, I'll quickly show you. I made a little cross wire. It's hard to see, but it goes sunny out, but goes up and over. I went over. I'm not really driving the loader through here. I hope that won't be a problem. But the underground wires with the cows, like see how they eroded all this from walking through here and stuff. So anyways, it makes a mess, and then the wire gets broken and kinked and stuff, and then yeah, anyways, cow hooks his foot on it, and then long story short is the wire is no longer there. So this is the gate I plumbed in. It's kind of a simple, stupid little gate, but I hope this helps, because now the deer will see this and they'll just deal with this high tensile wire that you probably can't run through. and they'll just bounce over it. But just have to get a different tensioner for this wire. Anyways, I want to build a gate here, but I feel like these gates are a little flimsy, like they're kind of bouncy, and maybe I just gotta put something better in here, or I don't know. But for now, I'm just gonna run the wire and then put cows in here, let them graze it down, and then I can run the tractor. I should be able to fit the tractor through here, but it's a little tight. But else, when the cows are out, I'll just cut that wire down, and maybe I'll put a gate in here somehow. I want a steel gate because those wire gates, they always break the clips. But I think this will work good. It's more or less just the deer. And if I want, I could put a lock on there, because sometimes I got to deal with these hunters that like to hunt here. So I like to be friendly with them. They liked hunting and I like farming, so if we can do it together, it's better. And I'd rather not have all my fences cut all the time, because I had that in the back. Someone must have, by that barbed wire, someone must have came there and they cut the 2 posts and cut all the wire, and it's like, or yeah, anyways, they cut the wire, and that sucks because I gotta go fix it. So I tell the hunters, like, at least I know who's here when they approach me, but there's still guys that will drive up here and hunt. They don't ask me, so whoever that is, you guys should just ask me, and then I can just kind of tell you what not to do, because cutting the wire is but I know it's not the people that are here that come to me, because they're very nice people. They seem to respect the property a little bit better when you talk to them one-on-one, and you're like, yeah, you can hunt here, no problem, just please respect the property, don't go breaking stuff, because I do a lot of work here to keep things functioned all summer, and then hunters come for 3 days and they shoot their fucking deer and cut some fence and do whatever they want to make their life a little easier to get to the deer, and then they say, well, we shot a deer, we're out of here. And then I got to deal with all that freaking crap they damaged, and you don't see it because you have to go find what they broke. So anyways, I don't like that. But I don't mind the hunters, because the deer are also the problem. And if they can shoot a few deer and keep the population down, also fine with me. These cows are probably excited to see some new grass. Should hopefully be next day or two. They're starting to get down on it, but I'm hoping to have them on that new piece, and then this can come back, maybe get a fall grazing out of this, or I should be able to. But most of this piece isn't very set up for rotational grazing, and that back piece is a big chunk. I'm just going to work it up, but in the future I'd like to maybe clean up a lot of this elk fence inside and then set up electric wires crisscross, because it's a lot. The problem with having so much fence is you have to maintain it too, and if it doesn't get maintained, it just becomes a, and then yeah, you end up spending, like, a lot of these gates here are broken or something's wrong with them. So and there's a lot of gates, if I could just make a little electric fence gate in here, a cross wire with 2 wires and 2 spanners and a couple small posts, it's not as much to maintain, and then all these other posts I can just use them as spares. But cleaning up this is also a big project. But I think once everything's done, I'd like to have maybe, like, this section is nice for cows because it's fenced really well, and the elk fence keeps the predators out when the calves are young, and then once the calves are a little bigger, I can kind of let them go on the land that's electric fenced. But and then I got silage over here on this side of the farm. It's like it's all quarters in a row.
Nice.
And then I'm kind of planning on doing, like, my crop on that side and cows on this side, so that way it just works kind of nice. And I'll feed the cows on the pasture because it boosts up it seems like the grass putting all that manure and stuff down on the pastures in the winter will give you a lot more grass throughout the summer. And then I can still clean out the corrals. Like, I'm going to build some pens over here, but when I clean out the pens, I can haul that manure on the field over here, and that way I have a nice balance of manure on the pasture, manure on the field. But yeah, the crop is looking very nice. It's very even and thick. Pretty happy about that. So I broke up that piece last year. It's not doing as good as this piece, but I didn't plow it all. I plowed a little bit of it, and there's like a peat moss middle strip in there, like a little kind of in that dip. There's a lot of peat moss, and it is very hard to plow that stuff. So I'm just gonna spray it out this fall, and then disc it very heavily and spray it out really good, and then hopefully that piece, because the when I bought this place, there was in the middle there was a bunch of wood. There's holes everywhere, so I leveled everything. It kind of was like that back piece where it's all rough and bumpy and stuff, and now once I work it for 3 or 4 years, and then I'll probably seed that into like hay or something, and then yeah, anyways, rotating your land, and you know, it's very beneficial to the soil. There's some people that like these whole wildlife duck programs, and they pay to seed their land back into grass, and you have to have a balance of both, I think, because like the pastures look really good here, and breaking up that, it was like some of the pastures are sod locked, and then you have to rotate your grasses. You